For the past couple of years, I've been working on a science fiction themed fighting game in my spare time. And since I was laid off last October, I've had a lot of spare time. I'm starting a devlog so that others can keep track of my game, provide input, and hopefully help me make this into a success. For now, let's call it Project Sci-Fighter. Perhaps I'll think of a better name before release. My game is a traditional 2D tag fighter featuring 2-on-2 battles. When I started working on this, 2XKO was the only significant upcoming competitor in the market. Now there's more popping up all the time, and people are already starting to talk about incoming tag fighter fatigue. Hopefully by the time my game is done, that fatigue will have ended. Let's talk about assets. I made all the character models myself in Blender, and I made most of the animations from scratch as well. However, at first I was using Mixamo.com to source animations. Mixamo has some difficulties, such as its skeleton, and the names of the bones can be difficult to work with in various environments. But it's a nice source for when you're starting out, and if your game's simple enough, if you're making a game, and your game's simple enough, you might not need anything with that. My first two characters I made using rigs based on the Mixamo rig, but afterwards I've begun using Rigify, and that's made things a lot easier, even though it's kind of difficult to look at first, but once you have used it for long enough and you can learn how to filter things out, it becomes a lot easier. I also custom made the shader for these models, which I based on a Western comic book aesthetic. Now, if you don't know, a shader is basically a sub-program that determines what color a pixel should be. At a low level, that's what it is. That's more complicated than it sounds. For the effects, I've mostly been using either Unity Asset Store effects that I downloaded, or making them myself using the particle system. I like making effects myself, but realistically, if I did that for every effect, I'd never finish the game. Some of the effects I even made in 2D, which was fun. Speaking of 2D, the character select screen features character portraits I made using Clip Studio Paint. I enjoy drawing, so I'm glad I was able to do so for this project. For the background elements, I've likewise been using a mix of Unity Asset Store elements and models I made from scratch. I'm using the Unity engine to develop this. I looked at different options for fighting games and felt that none of the available paid options matched my needs, so I coded all the game logic myself. However, I did need a tool to track the various hit, hurt, and push boxes for each move in the game and let me set those visually. Developing a tool like that from scratch would be a huge time sink. Eventually I found the Animancer platformer kit had a feature that was close to what I wanted. So I modified that code to work for 3D models, among other changes. Animancer has been invaluable to this project. I may have given up had Animancer not allowed me to avoid using Unity's obtuse and confusing animators directly. It's easily the best Unity tool and well worth your money. Though there is a free version with less features to whet your appetite. Also, the developer, Cybernetic, was quick to reply to a few emails I sent him. The same developer made Ult Events, which is an event system far surpassing what Unity supports out of the box, and I highly recommend that as well. So thank you, Cyberkinetic. You were the greatest of all time Unity Asset Store dev. Put a lot of work into making my characters unique. For example, Gun Guy here can load 2 different types of ammo, which change the next bullet he fires. This android character has a run instead of a more traditional dash. With unique moves he can only do from the run. The blade-wielding lady you see here has a forward air dash and can reflect projectiles. Lastly, Dragon has a ground dash that travels upwards and can charge her fire breath. I'll leave it at that for now. Can't reveal all of my secrets up front now, can I? Look forward to hearing more in a later video. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on Sci-Fighter, or stories from my grandfather, or satirical reviews of various cities. Say what you will, but this channel offers variety that others just don't. What are you waiting for? You don't have to click it, actually. I mean, it's cool. You know, whatever you want. I'm not begging you or nothing. Like if you want to do it, but I'm not begging you.